Hi everybody, it's Luke from Foot Tech. We've got a really simple passing drill that you can do today with your players. So before we get into that, we wanted to talk a little bit about passing and how sometimes it's coached in the wrong way. And what we mean by that is that a lot of coaches find that the best way to teach passing is to have two children simply passing between each other, okay? Because we think that that's going to help them learn the technique of passing. The problem with that is that it's not contextual. You'll hear us talk a lot about this. It's not game related. In a game, they're going to have a lot of other things going on around them, mainly defenders. So if we're going to teach players, even young players, how to pass, it's better to do it in context. It's better to do it in a game-like situation, like the exercise we're going to show you today. It just means that when you do eventually go into the match situations, they're going to be able to pass a lot better because they're used to playing in those sorts of environments. If we just teach them passing in isolation and they're just passing between each other with no opposition, put them into a match, it's very, very different, and it's going to be harder for them to take that and implement it in the game. We're much better focusing on showing them how to pass in context. It might take them a little bit longer to learn the techniques and so forth, but they'll learn the techniques in the context of the game, and that's what we're looking for. So this exercise is a perfect example, so let's get into it.
So you've got two reds either side with two blues in the middle. The two blues can only move sideways. The red teams have got to work together to try and get the ball between the lines to the other side. Every successful pass counts as 1 point. The blues have got to move side to side and try to intercept any of those balls, and once they do, they can then go and try and score in either goal. So let's take a little look. The great thing about this one is you can play around with the rules and change it up depending upon the needs of your players. So in this example here, and one that I used recently, whichever goal the blues decide to score in, only the defenders in that area can tackle them. So for example, it'd become a 2v2. The two reds in the other area would have to stay where they are. The idea would be that they play to a finish. So the blues try to score in that goal. If the reds intercept, they can score in that goal as well. It may be that you change the rules slightly to say that if the reds intercept, they then have to play a pass into the far area for that red team to score in that goal, whatever you want, but you can really mix up the rules. So this is an example at one of our recent sessions. We had 9 players, so we just went 3 either side and 3 in the middle. You can mix that up depending upon the needs of your players and how hard you want to make it. But you'll see they're passing to each other, and it's giving them chance to practice the passing techniques. But because they've got those defenders in the middle, they're having to do it in context of the game. You see there, the reds intercepted, they can go and score straight away. It's also good because it's teaching the reds in the middle, can you intercept that ball, but can you keep it close? So then you can actually go and attack as opposed to just blasting the ball away. So the guys on the outside, they're able to just take the time, pick the passes. But if I wanted to make it a little bit harder, I'd maybe look at time limits. So the people in the passers would only have maybe 3 seconds, otherwise they'd have to pass it to the other side. You can just mix it up, just base it upon the needs of your players. But yeah, you'll see here again, the blues have tried to go score. Now it becomes a 3v3 in that area. Coaches on hand on the outside just to keep the ball in play. So it's moving, the ball's moving all the time. We'll just replay that video again. But as I say, with regards these exercises, they can be varied depending upon the needs of and abilities levels of your players. If you've got those higher ability players, then limit touches, limit time on the ball. For players that are maybe new to the game, or younger players, then just let them feel their way into it, like here, where they've got all the time in the world in their own areas to pick those passes and actually practice the technique of passing, but still you've got that little bit of an opposed element, which makes it that little bit more game related. So use it and adapt it for your players and your team. The great thing is you don't need exact numbers for this. You can mix and match it depending on how many players you get turn up. You can have a variety of pitches with different numbers on each pitch, whatever you want to do, but you can certainly get all your team involved with this one.